Good morning, everybody. Hey, welcome to Friday, January 22nd. This month's hard to believe is already almost over. Hey, well, we had the inauguration this week and everything was looking pretty good until up until yesterday. Even yesterday looked good. Today, man, we will talk about the what's happening today in the marketplace because it is not looking as well as it has the rest of the week. So remember, as I always talk about, there's only one thing that you and I can control within our portfolios, and that's the amount of risk that you have. And if you don't know what your risk number is, I encourage you to give us a call at 863-382-0037 to schedule your no obligation financial x-ray to help determine how much risk you do have in your current portfolio and to make sure that it lines up with the amount of risk exposure that you're comfortable with. Again, give us a call at 863-382-0037 to walk through that process. Hey, we'll be online here with Scotty coming up next.
Hi, point. Let FM. You can't hurry love. You can try, but you just can't do it. There's Phil Collins, of course. It's 8:41, 56 degrees in Sebring, headed up to the mid-70s this afternoon. Going to be a gorgeous Friday across our little corner of paradise. Hey, Phillip's on the line. Let's all take a ride to Statler Financial Services in Sebring. Good morning, Phillip. Happy Friday.
Hey, Scotty, happy Friday to you. I know you're excited because this is the last day you had to get up at what, 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning, right?
Yeah, you bet, man. Somebody once said that getting up real early in the morning is like jumping into a cool mountain stream. At first, it's a shock, but then it's refreshing. I'm waiting for the refreshing part, Phillip. I still am.
Hey, well, it's been a good week, Scotty, getting to catch up with you some. But
I know.
hey, we're here to talk about finances, right?
Sure.
And so let's kind of look at yesterday and where we ended up yesterday before we kind of dive into what's happening today.
Okay.
And so I'm trying to find my right little spot here. Here we go. So yesterday was a kind of a mixed day, Scotty. We had the two indexes did okay. The Dow was down less than 0.04%. We call that pretty flat. The S&P 500 was up less than 3/100, so it was kind of flat too. The only thing that really did halfway decent yesterday was the Nasdaq, again up about a little over 0.5%. So good things there. Today we're looking a little bit red as we get ready to kick off today. So, but before we get into where we're headed, let's look at maybe some of the individual stocks they're reporting some earnings, and then we'll talk about the overall futures and where and why they may be going the direction they are this morning. Because there's nothing on the macro side, right? There's no reporting out from the federal government from a macro standpoint. But we did have some common household names on the earnings front. The first one being IBM, good old blue.
Right.
They had a good quarter. They came in at 207 compared to the 179 they were expected to come in. However, their revenue did miss the forecast. A lot of that is pandemic induced because people didn't want to commit. Businesses did not want to commit to long-term deals. So they kicked those down the road a little bit. So that's really hurting IBM this morning. They're down almost a little over 8% now, 8.33% before the market opens up today. So they're getting beat up pretty bad as we see most everything is this morning, and that's a lot due to the futures this morning. Yesterday we had an oil service firm. Today we have another one called Schlumberger, and Schlumberger is a oil services firm, helps oil companies out in the field maintain their equipment and that type of thing. They beat by 5 cents a share, came in at 22 cents a share. Revenue was ahead of forecast also. They were helped because oil prices and oil demand increased over this last month or so. But again, because of the direction of the markets as a whole, we're seeing most everybody in a negative territory right now. So Schlumberger right now is down 1.2%. after being down 4.5% on yesterday. So the oil industry again getting beat up this morning before we open up.
Okay.
We have another bank, Huntington Bank. They used to be here, but they abandoned Florida and went back to the Midwest. So, but they missed by 2 cents a share. Revenue was basically in line with expectations, and so they like everybody else getting beat up this morning, down 2.5%. So again, everybody can see that today what we're talking about, even companies that are making money are down, and so when we turn to the futures, you'll understand why.
Okay.
Yes. Another household name is Intel. They had a good quarter. They beat by 42 cents a share. Their revenue also exceeded expectations. They've been one of those companies that's been helped by the pandemic because people have upgraded their laptops, upgraded their computer systems, and that's been help to Intel. They did raise their dividend by 5%. But again, even with all of that, they're getting beat up this morning, down 5.4%.
Wow.
So
Okay.
yeah, so even companies doing well are struggling today. We had another technology company, Seagate. I don't know, but back early on, Seagate was the main name when it came to hard drives and that type of stuff. Not so much anymore, but they had a decent quarter. They beat by about 16 cents a share. Their revenue was well above forecast. But here's an issue for them. They're having some issues with their profit margins. Both their gross profit and operating profit margins have fallen from a year ago. And that's what's putting some pressure on them this morning. They're down 4.5%. So
Okay.
yeah, it's a tough morning this morning, Scotty, as we look at where we're going to open up. And so that leads me to the futures, and the futures are trading down. The question's why?
Right.
Why? Before I give you those numbers, what's really the emphasis behind that? And a couple things seem to be that we are having some questions about the stimulus. When's it going to come out? Is it going to come out? Now there's some questions. There's some rumblings that folks want Biden to reduce his stimulus package down below that $1.9 trillion. And so that's putting some pressure on there. We have countries like Hong Kong announced a major lockdown. They've literally locked down 150 residential buildings to help control the outbreak of COVID. And we got countries like the UK over in Great Britain. They've been under a lockdown, but it hasn't helped. Even with the lockdown, there continues to be incredible numbers of new cases coming out of the UK. So I think all of this is culminating after a big week, after inauguration week, after a week of big gains and setting some all-time highs. And so this news is just causing people to pause, maybe take some profits, and let things settle out over the weekend. And
Sure.
so
Okay.
so that's what we're looking at. So now what does that all mean? So what's the real damage, Phillip? Well, it's not pretty, Scotty. It's just not pretty
Oh,
at all.
okay.
We've got the Dow down 0.75%. We got the S&P 500 down almost 0.7%, and we've got the Nasdaq down 0.6. So and then the small cap Russell 2000 is down almost 1% this morning. So definitely a rough ride ahead on this Friday. And then commodities, they're not helping us, Scotty. They're heading the same direction. We've got silver down 2.25%, gold's down 1.3%. Crude oil is making a massive turn down, down 2.6% this morning, down to $51.75 a barrel. That's a pretty big decline for them. And let's just mention Bitcoin real quick.
Okay.
Bitcoin had a really bad day yesterday. It was down 20%, but it is heading back up this morning. So it's the cryptocurrencies are just all over the place this last week or so. So that's kind of where we are to end the week. Hopefully we bounce off these lows and end up maybe in the green today before we close out the day. But that's the problem. Nobody knows where the
Right.
markets are going to go. And Scotty, that's why it's so important that folks understand how much risk they have in their portfolio. And so it's easy to do, folks. All you have to do is give us a call at 863-382-0037 to get your financial x-ray. Or check out our website, statlerfinancial.com, and then join us this weekend for the Statler Financial Radio Show, 6 a.m. and noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday morning on Highlands News Talk 730.
All right, Phillip. Hey, I really enjoy our time together when I'm filling in for Dave, and all the best to you and yours, Phillip, and we appreciate all you do, my friend.
All right, man. Hey, you have a great day. I've enjoyed the week with you, Scotty. Catch up on your sleep this weekend, and be safe.
Better times ahead. Thank you so much, Phil.
Weddings.
Hey, folks, as we close out the week, who knows what today will look like? It's definitely going to be starting on a sour note this morning, heading down. It doesn't mean that we'll end that way. Nobody knows until the end of the day when we call it quits for the day. So, but hang in there. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. And I look forward to joining you again on Monday with Dave here, bright and early Monday morning. Have a great day. I look forward to speaking to you on Monday.